about what's being done, but you still keep putting the people who are the problem back in there. And then you blame the people who are trying to fix it, who are not gaining any ground because they have these obstacles of people like Speaker Boehner and Eric Cantor and Mitch McConnell and other extreme, well, no, I won't say extreme, other donkeys dressed up in rhino costumes trying to run as elephants. And when you look at all that stuff and you start thinking, well, this GOP infighting is stupid, you're right, it is stupid. It should be more conservative. But if you're just getting sick of that, folks, there is another party out there called the Libertarian Party. But the problem with the Libertarians is no two Libertarians are alike. Individuality is a great thing. There's no real party platform, which is a little bit of a breath of fresh air, but also, on the flip side, when you're voting for a Libertarian, it's the same thing as voting for an independent. You really, really have to look at what they stand for and how activist they're planning to be for those things that they stand for, because they may not stand for all the things that you do, and some things they may be willing to be more aligned with what constituents desire, but in other things they are going to be activist. And that's what is really giving us problems in our legislature, folks, is we have legislators that we're electing, and some people are electing them on single issue things because they happen to agree with this one single issue, like the abortion debate or some other thing that's never really going to be solved in a legislature anyway. So they vote for him for that. But then they find out the hard way that that person that they voted because of issue number one is actually diametrically opposed to them on issue number two. Like, let's say this person agrees with you abortion-wise, which they're really not going to do anything about, like I said, not anytime soon. But on the flip side, they're diametrically opposed to you on Second Amendment rights. Well, you just put them in office, and guess what? They've had some headway in screwing with Second Amendment rights at the federal level. Now, some of those have been tossed out. They also have messed with other, rights and freedoms here and there, enacting regulations as far as power and energy go, which end up driving up the cost, your general cost of living, from getting from home to work and back, from making sure that your house, the environment in your house is tolerable, if not comfortable. Keeping your food cold, getting your food to the store so that it's there and available for purchase, getting to the store and back to buy it. All these energy costs, a good chunk of them is federal regulatory fees and taxes. So every time you drive from point A to point B and you buy that gasoline, a good chunk of that price per gallon is federal and state taxes, mostly federal. Well, that depends on where you live. But there you go. So think about that, folks, next time you go to vote. And think about that as you approach the ballot in November. And if you've been voting for more of the same, but you're complaining that things aren't going the way you wish they were, well, maybe you made the wrong decision when you went to the primaries. Just think about that. So, speaking about our lovely people who think they're leaders, we have a non-elected person. She was not elected. She was not appointed. She just happens to be married to somebody who was elected. Of course, I'm speaking about Michelle Obama. And, of course, she's harping on the whole school lunches and eat nutrition and all that, nutritiously and all that stuff. And, well, first of all, she ain't let me use proper English here. She isn't a registered dietitian. She has no expertise in diet or exercise. And if you look at her, it's kind of obvious. But yet this is her pet project here. First thing she might want to do is shut her mouth and read a few books on the actual most recent studies done on nutrition and everything, because she might discover that 40% of adult Americans are gluten sensitive, undiagnosed. In other words, they don't even know it. They have an allergy or a heightened sensitivity to wheat gluten, which causes a bunch of other medical problems in them, and they're linked to this, but they don't know it, and they don't even know necessarily that these problems are linked to each other at all. And I'm not going to sit here and preach the gluten-free lifestyle, folks. I'm going to say make your own decisions and do your own research, but that's one of the things that she may want to look into before she starts flapping her gums about how to eat right, because if you look at her body style and other things, it's obvious that she should at least be tested to see what her gluten sensitivity may or may not be. But the last thing she should be doing, and I'm going to tell her what she should and should not eat. That's up to her. It's her decision. She's a grown woman. She shouldn't be telling me what to pack for my child in our lunch. She shouldn't be telling local schools, how they should be running their school lunch programs. School lunch program should not be a federal program. That should be unconstitutional. Look at the 10th Amendment, and then go back and look at the rest of the Constitution. You find out where telling children what to eat, or telling schools, or even education. You show me where that's listed in the U.S. Constitution, and then tell me where the federal government has any authority to govern over that, which is a local responsibility. But anyway, she's out flapping her gums, and school started for a lot of kids within the past couple of days. For those who go to private or charter schools in the last couple of weeks. And already, folks, kids, especially kids in high school, are not very pleased with how the schools are falling in lockstep with what Empress Queen Grand Poobah Obama is decreeing as far as what they're allowed to have in their schools. So, there they are, and even though some nutritionists actually back Michelle Obama for her crusade against childhood obesity, kids are, there's kids out there who just are not eating what's not being provided because they look at it and go, what's this slop? They try to make something that appears more healthy, but then again, it's being cooked by people who may not know how to cook those specific things. If you don't know how to cook asparagus properly and put it in a good hollandaise sauce, you have no business serving it, for example. So, there's an article over on Vocative. That's vocativ.com. Under their culture, health school lunch. Look through those kind of tags in there and you'll find it. And it talks about the junk food fight. Students tee off on Michelle Obama. And they have some tweets and Facebook things posted in there that kind of let Michelle and her ilk have it for their great and wonderful way of telling your kids what they can and cannot eat. Never mind what mom and dad say. She's everybody's mother. So, you know, she has more rights to your kids than you do. At least that's the attitude that she gives off. I'll tell you right now, what if the tables were turned? What if you walked in and said, Michelle Obama, you're married to a public servant. Your entire lifestyle right now is on my dime. You work for me. So I'm going to tell your kids what they can and can't eat. She would be all up in your face saying, how dare you, I'm the first lady, I'm their mother, I'm blah, blah. She'd be the first one to say that she's their parents and she has parents, that she's the child's parent and she has parental rights. So, what's good for the goose is not good for the gander in this case. But some of the tweets out to Michelle Obama that they have listed here, just beating her up for her being a hypocrite, among other things. Like one from this Michaela, who tweeted out, "Shout out to my girl Michelle Obama. I'm sure that burger tastes a lot better than my school lunch." And there's a picture of Michelle and Barack stuffing their faces with burgers and fries and sodas. Well, one thing of note is Barrio has a bottle of spring water instead of a soda, but the other ones are Michelle and the kids are drinking sodas. So there you have that. And then another tweet has bleep Michelle Obama. That's all it's put there. Of course, I had to bleep out the not safe for work word there, the not safe for radio word. But you look at the picture and it's a vending machine that is empty. Nothing in it. Not even healthy snacks, which is really bad. And there's several others here. One from Allie Hill says, "Thank you, Michelle Obama, for our nasty lunch meal. I had to starve all day and wait to get home." And then hashtag, you take my nuggets. And you look down and it's looks like some chicken nuggets and some hot wings and some honey mustard sauce and a big thing of steak fries. It actually looks pretty good, with the exception of the breading. But anyway. And they go on, folks. It's just tweet after tweet and Facebook post, etc. That you just see all these things that are just blasting them. One of the last ones on there is a bottle of strawberry flavored, artificially flavored water and a piece of pepperoni pizza. And it says flavored water so school food will be healthier. You know, water is good, but when you start putting a lot of those additional additives, especially if they have certain artificial sweeteners, they end up making them no longer healthy. You're better off just drinking straight up unflavored water. A chili dog that has like 15 beans and I guess that's a hot dog. It's probably a soy dog. And of course a wheat riddled bun. And really, that does not look appetizing. Somebody with 2 chicken fingers and like 5 fries and a mass of ketchup, and that's all they got for lunch. And that's 2 orders of fries for $2.20. And it's like 7 fries each order. Good Lord, folks. Yeah, look at the story, folks. I just gave you a smidgen of it. But yeah, it's more big government trying to tell private citizen what they can and cannot do. That, folks, is why we do not do the school lunches or breakfasts. That is why our kid will get up a little bit earlier and eat breakfast at home, and why our kids get their lunches packed for them, because our kids have to be on somewhat watched and controlled diets due to a couple of medical issues and food sensitivities. Now, that's the other thing, is like you go to a school, and let's say your kid has a birthday or something like that, and you want to bring cupcakes or cookies or whatever, you know, to celebrate your kid's birthday when they have a little bit of a break there. Now, when I was a kid, that was a normal thing. You would bring in your cupcakes or whatever, and you hand them out. If some kid couldn't eat it, they'd say no thank you, and it was the kid knew what they could or couldn't eat due to, you know, medical sensitivities, or maybe their parents didn't allow it or what have you. You know, they just say no thank you, and after, you know, if the kid's in your same class, after a couple of years, you realize, okay, this kid's not going to be able to have any, so you just don't bring that, and you might be nice and bring them an apple or with peanut butter or what have you on it for them, you know, something if you're nice. But you don't necessarily, and the kids never really complain, hey, I can't have that, and everybody else did. They usually don't, at least not in the classes, because they understand, hey, they have their special case. But nowadays you can't do that. Anything you bring has to be store-bought with the full-on labels on it, so they know everything, including the allergens, etc. And some schools will even ban tree nuts, peanuts, soy, milk products. They have their little pet lists of possible allergens that they won't allow. But here's the really big one, folks. When you have statistics studies out there that demonstrate anywhere from 35 to 40% of the adult population, or of the United States, and probably even more prevalent in the kids, has a sensitivity to a certain thing that's probably undiagnosed. But that's the thing that is most pushed through the schools, and people try to push that as being extremely healthy without even paying attention to those kids who have had it diagnosed. Well, our kid knows what she can and cannot eat, and she knows what the doctors and the blood tests have proven in her case. So we pack her own lunch for her, and I'm just waiting for the day that some idiot lunch lady tries to tell me, "You're not giving your kid enough grains. She needs to eat more whole wheat." Because at that point, I am going to publicly embarrass that idiot for stepping over lines. And the first question is going to be, are you a registered dietitian? Are you a doctor? Are you an MD? What degree do you have? And when it comes out that they're a high school grad and that's it, yeah, not going to be happy. But Michelle Obama says she ain't a dietitian either. I'm more qualified to talk about nutrition than she is. And I would not say that I am a number one head expert, because if I were, I wouldn't be doing a news talk show. I'd be talking food, which is a hobby of mine. I love to cook and cook healthy. But anyway, there's my rage against the machine, so to speak. My shaking the fist at the powers that be. And I'm not talking about the divine ones either for this particular topic. So we have the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, telling you, you will comply and you will tell the TSA people everything that you carry with you on a plane as far as your private prescription medication, and give them your whole medical history. Kiss my knee. Flip side, your kid will eat what we tell you to eat. You have no authority to decide for your own kids. Yeah, kiss my other knee, Obama. So that's what we've got going on coming out of the big federal spin. And there's plenty of other things out there. If you head on over to BuzzPro, there's some really good stories there, and do your reading up, folks. But right now I'm going to flip over to the Daily Caller, who always has something good in there. It's just that sometimes the write-up over at BuzzPro may be a little bit better, sometimes not. But Tristan Bloom posted a little something. This goes into talking about our military and veterans issues. Air Force Major Dave Davis is being told that he can't vote. He's currently stationed in Guam, and he's told he can't vote due to part of the decolonization registry, and says that although Guam is a official U.S. territory, it's unincorporated U.S., and because this person serving in the military is not white, he can't vote because he's not a Chamorro. Yeah, it sounds like that actually sounds like racism, folks. That actually sounds like a little bit of a violation of the 14th Amendment and the poll tax and a few other federal laws there, mostly the Constitution itself. So, yeah. Hi, welcome. You're serving in a U.S. territory as part of the U.S. military, and we're not going to let you register to vote. Yeah. That would not go over too well if it were with me.